Welcome to Legacy School. Our mission is to saturate the heart of every student with revelatory teaching that awakens them into the original intentions of God. Please visit LegacySchoolOnline.com to begin your journey of awakening your eternal impact.
So you cannot carry authority if you refuse to come under authority. It's just a natural progression. There's no mavericks carrying authority. Authority is always into some structure or oversight, or, there's no rogue policeman tonight running around Des Moines. They all are under a structure of authority that they've decided to come under. They even got training of how to be under that authority. And that's literally what we're supposed to be doing. So you start to transition from learning to honor to aligning to carrying authority. So you're aligning yourself with an authority. There are a lot of people looking for and trying to find a place to align with right now. And I had some discussion about that this last couple days. There are people like wanting to come into Hebron Guild because they're looking for a place to align under an authority, because they know that if they find the right alignment, they'll be empowered with authority. And so they're looking, who's carrying the sound or the frequency that I can relate to, that I want to be a part of, and I want to submit myself into that. So you're learning honor. When you first start out as an emerging leader, you're learning how to honor. Now, some of the times the honoring thing's a little weird. No, all seriousness. I mean, in Africa, they carry your bags, and that's a thing of honor. The carrying of the bag is really, I want to touch your hand so I could get the anointing off of your hand. That's literally what they're thinking. It's kind of weird. I think it's real strange at times, but it's their culture. I mean, but the strangest thing was those dudes that circled us in the car. They were all dressed in white, pure white pants, white, everything's white. They're holding hands, and we're getting it, and we come out of the car, and there's 30 guys, and they're shuffling. And we're in the midst of this circle, and I'm like, what are these guys doing? And Gideon's like, they're protecting the anointing on you. I'm like, they're protecting the anointing? And I'm like, so what are they doing about what's over the top of me? That was my first thought. And then they shuffle us into the church, and they bring us to the front row, and then they disappear. Then I'm like, oh, now I'm vulnerable. What's going on now? And it was a way of honoring. That was how they looked at it. It was a way of honoring. And then when we were all done, we did the same routine going back out into the car. But then when we drove down the road, they didn't run alongside the car, so I guess we were on our own at that point again. People are silly sometimes. You just sit here and go, oh my gosh. Oh. So you end up being, as a leader, you end up being a guinea pig to get people straightened out. That's what you end up doing. But we had an amazing move of God in that meeting that night. It was powerful. We started praying for people, and the power of God hit to the point where you would just raise your hands and 30, 40 people just fall over. So there was this wave after wave that was hitting, because the room was semicircular, and there was just wings of people. And you would just come over here to pray, and you just raise your hands, and they were just all falling every direction, and plastic chairs just flying everywhere. And then you come over here, and there'd be a line of people, and you just start praying, and the first person you put hands on them, there'd be 5 to 10 people just fall out right behind them. And then you come back over here because they're picking up that mess, and you're over here doing something. And we were there for 3 hours praying for people. And at one point, what happened in my mind was, where are the buses coming from with all these people? Because I think I've prayed for everybody. I know I prayed for some people twice. And I'm like, they just keep coming for more and more and more. And so I kind of ended the meeting by just saying, if you want something from God, raise your hands. And I just and we're all done. And now here comes my dudes. And we're getting in the car to get out of there. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. Integrity. Attribute number 9, integrity. Emerging leaders desire to do something right, and it's because they're trying to find their identity and also their integrity in the same moment. Maturing leaders have integrity because they have found their identity. You see, you function out of that identity. So integrity includes humility. So the degree of integrity sometimes also rests on the degree of humility that you embrace. So how does that start to make sense? Well, you sure can't have pride and have integrity, because you're gonna get yourself into a predicament or a spot. Of course, pride being the opposite of humility, pride comes before a fall. And because what really is integrity? Integrity is an internal alignment with truth. It is you internally aligning with a truth and embracing that truth to be a part of your life. Integrity is what you do when no one else is watching. Okay? Let's see if I want to. So the word integrity comes from the Greek word integer, kind of like tiger, tigger, integer, which means undivided. So here we are again with what? James 1:8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So see, integrity is when you are single in focus, single in heart, single in affection. There's a single-mindedness that you have, and you're not here and there, because you see, integrity is not built in what you do. Integrity is built in your private decisions. Every private decision that you make, you are either increasing your integrity or you're removing integrity. This is, right now we have a really major integrity issue in the body. That's why we're seeing so many falling. The thing with Jeremiah Johnson being accused of plagiarizing prophecy, which I could probably honestly say that I'm pretty sure that's the truth of that matter, because it came from so many different avenues. That's an integrity issue. That is a decision that was made when no one was watching. Seriously. That was a decision that was double-minded. To sit here and preach on this and then model the opposite. And that's a problem. I don't want to get into that too far. But what does integrity do? It reveals how much lordship you have. It reveals, have I genuinely allowed God to govern my life? In my decision making, in what I do with my life, and what I've decided to do with my life. It starts to reveal all of that. And integrity is actually the evidence of a surrendered life. And so I'm serious, we do not hear many messages about integrity, because it's too sticky, it's too prickly, it's too demanding of change, it's too demanding of walking a narrow line walk. And most of what we hear is a wide line walk. You sort it out on your own instead of, no, you need to have some form of integrity. that we can understand that this is the degree of the lordship that you've allowed to come into your life. So integrity is going to actually connect you to your authority. So the degree of authority that you have a lot of times comes into the degree of integrity that you carry. That authority flows from who you are more than like, oh, I gave you this responsibility, now go do that. You can be given responsibility and have no authority.
Thanks for joining Legacy School today. We hope you are blessed with the teachings that will lead you to deeper truths in God. If you want to step further into revelation and advanced teaching, please visit legacyschoolonline.com to enroll. Again, that's legacyschoolonline.com. See you in school.